to go to sleep.
Yep, that's
Because you're
right.
in
And
the
he
presence
loves
of God
it
when
that
you're
way,
praying.
exactly.
And when you're in the presence of God, you turn everything over to Him. He controls
And he
everything.
gives you peace.
And you're at peace because, all right, God, it's you.
Yep.
It's all you.
That's all you.
Okay, God, hey. And then
I
he does
quit.
it. And then
I
he does
quit.
it.
He quit.
I
To
quit.
piggyback on what George had mentioned before, that's how we're going to daily rest. The daily rest, taking a break, enjoy fresh air and sunshine. But that meditation right there, your eyes closed, breathing in, and just being quiet is very, very important to rejuvenate you, to give you rest. I mean, how many times do you step out? George, you're outside a lot, walking around. So it's, I'm in the studio a lot, but every once in a while I'm like, you know what, guys, we're gonna flip this tire outside because I need to get some sun in my face. I need to break a sweat, and we'll flip a tire outside.
You have a tire
just to
flip?
get,
Yeah, studio.
some sunshine and breathe in that fresh air. Because that circulating air is not good for you.
No,
You know what I mean? You need fresh air. Stretching your body. Take the time to stretch your body. That is one of the most powerful cats in Africa. He stretches. Okay, he's got that downward dog.
That's
It's a
from
Siberian
Asia.
tiger. Siberian tiger. Part of Africa.
Oh.
Stretch your body.
Siberia is in Asia.
Well, that's what's called Siberian tiger. Whatever tiger that is.
Whatever
Whatever
clip
tiger
it
that
is.
is. Hey, look. That's what George we're talking about right there. Take a
Yeah.
5-10 vacation. A 5-10 vacation is
That's in a
literally
zoo in Africa.
giving yourself a chance to step out of yourself. 5 to 10 minutes every day is that daily refreshment of meditation, of just closing your mind. Paul, you got all these variables in your head about a program. You got to turn it off for 5 to 10 minutes
That's
to
right.
reset.
Ellen White
You know?
says, take a walk after you eat.
Yeah, take a
And
walk.
so I try to take a few laps around the building and get fresh air, listen to Christian music, and
Absolutely.
just, I come back and it's like, okay, I usually see the problem within 2 minutes after I do that. So it
How about
does,
this?
it works.
Does anyone do this? Anybody take a nap?
That, and
When
Terry,
I-
all
when
the
I-
time when I tell Terry, I come home from work and I said, I need 15 minutes. I go in the room, throw on my mask, and lay down. And I tell her 15 minutes, and she doesn't wake me up but an hour or so later. And I'm like, I told you I only needed 15 minutes. She said, but you were still sleeping when I went in there. So
Oh, that's so nice. But I have a question.
amazing.
I have
because
a
Naps
question.
are absolutely amazing.
I have a question to pose to all of you. You've seen my dad preach, right? What do you think he does when he gets home?
Takes a nap.
He takes a nap because it's exhaustive,
Yeah, of
and he
course,
feels
yeah.
better after the nap. It's
I-
necessary.
Trust me, I do the same thing. I put all the equipment back in there and I go upstairs and I'm out.
Yeah.
That's how I want to feel every Sabbath right there. When I get home,
I want to say
Like
that
this
that
bulldog
picture
right here.
relaxes me.
that right there, take a nap. Do you know that John F. Kennedy took naps? Ronald Reagan took naps. Winston Churchill took naps. Of course, Albert Einstein is
Yeah.
one of the most famous people that
a
used
sleeper,
naps.
yeah.
He only slept 3 to 4 hours a day, but he took naps throughout the day to rejuvenate himself. So we're talking about the 4 hours. You can sleep 4 hours, but as
That's
long
good.
as
God bless
you
you.
still get that 7 to 8 hours of rest every day.
Now, Patrick, quick question for you: Is a nap and to sleep like exercise where it's cumulative?
Yes.
Okay.
Taking, again, everything, just like your nutrition. If you're eating poor one meal, then you eat poor second meal, you eat poor third meal, the cumulative effects of those poor choices
Yeah.
of calories is cumulative.
Yeah.
Okay? When you exercise, if you exercise for 30 minutes in the morning, then you do 30 minutes at night,
Yes.
you did an hour of exercise.
Exactly.
If you take, you wake up and then you take like a 20-minute nap, or George, an hour, which is 15 equals an hour, okay? And then later on during the day, another 15, 20 minutes, an hour nap, you've equaled the 7, 8 hours.
Seven,
It's
8 hours.
cumulative rest.
Wait,
because
no,
you're giving yourself,
Patrick.
sir.
So I have a question.
That's
about
good to
this,
know.
Since obviously you're an expert on these sort of
Makes you feel
things.
better.
Yeah, Mr.
From what I understand, sleep is in cycles. After an hour and a half, you enter a certain cycle. Then after a certain amount of time, you enter another cycle. When you divide sleep into 2 halves or even more, doesn't it interrupt those cycles?
Well, it depends. Like within 45 minutes, you're going to enter stage 3 and 4 sleep, which is
Rapid eye
before,
movement.
before you get into REM sleep.
5
Right.
minutes.
Yeah, but even with a 30-minute nap or an hour nap,
You're in
I get
deep
refreshed.
sleep.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
in third, because 3 to 4 is already deep sleep.
Oh,
Level
okay.
5 is REM sleep, and you get into REM sleep every 45 minutes. Okay, so and then you come out of it, and then you go into say 3, 4, then back into 5. But you don't, unless they are like instantly woken up, like say the fire alarm goes off, or the house alarm goes off, and or the baby comes in and shakes you. Oh, I peed in bed. You know, you really fall in and out from 5 into 3, 4, 5 into 3, 4. It's not completely awake unless you are. It's happened to you by accident or whatever.
Yeah.
So
But
that's good to know.
you enter it fast enough that 4 hours of sleep is enough for like a nap.
Yeah, I mean 4 hours plus naps.
Yeah,
you
4
can
hours
get
plus
to
naps
7
is
to
what
8
I meant.
hours.
Exactly.
Okay? For me, I'm in the studio 12 to 13 hours every day. If I get a break and I'm not working out, there's a massage table I have in my office. I just lay down on the massage table and just in complete darkness, and I just kind of decompress. I just chill out until I hear the alarm or the door open up, and then my next client comes in. But that 20 minutes, 15 minutes,
Oh, wonders.
it is.
Wonders.
Yeah.
You
Took
know,
the words right out of
it's
my mouth.
It's amazing, you know what I mean? And that's at least my strategy to keeping myself kind of fresh. Because imagine, you know, in different people how they work, you talk with different people every day, George, at different sites. I talk to different people, but they got the same problems. It's like you just rewind the conversation, okay? From Betsy to Anna to Sylvia to what, every single client has the same story, okay? They're just saying it with different amounts of stress.
You know
okay?
this better than most people.
And,
Yeah.
you know, it's psychology mostly, but I'm hearing that all day long, and you just need to decompress from that aspect of your life. So that's what my strategy is. Proverbs 6:10 says, a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of hands to rest. And that's what naps are. It's just that little bit that can springboard you to you get like a second wind. Now, this is like the last big thing we're going to talk about, because the last thing is annual rest. We're talking about vacation, but weekly rest when we talk about the Sabbath. Okay, created for man. Make a joyful shout to the Lord, all you lands, serve the Lord with gladness, come before His presence with singing. We have a dilemma I know of because I've seen it. I live it every week. Okay, and I know the pastor, I know Paul, I know George has the dilemma of laboring on the Sabbath.
Ray,
And when we talk about laboring on the Sabbath, as I was going through the study of this program of Creation Health, as Adventists, we honor the Sabbath. So we're supposed to rest on the Sabbath, ceasing to work, ceasing to move, or cease of movement, ceasing to work. But if you're the pastor, if you're a deacon, if you're the head deacon, if you're the elder, you are laboring on the Sabbath in such a way you're still working for the church. But the laboring sometimes, there's gray areas. And what I say about that is this. I know that there's a Sabbath walk that they had, okay? When the tribes created the sanctuary in the middle, and when the 12 tribes, all those tents that surrounded the sanctuary that God asked to be made, okay? There was, I believe, 700 meters. It was a Sabbath walk. With a ball of string, they measured it out to the last tent. That's as far as you could walk to labor on the Sabbath. Just to the middle of where you can go to the sanctuary on the Sabbath. You couldn't have a handkerchief in your hand to blow your nose, because then you would be carrying a burden. So they asked you to sew it to your shirt. You know what I mean? You couldn't carry that burden. So now you had to blow your nose on your shirt, but you had this handkerchief. So when we carry the burden on the Sabbath, we all carry that burden. Because as a pastor, you got to work to prepare a sermon. Paul, you get this, as soon as you get to the church, you're doing all kinds of stuff. George, he starts on Friday going insane. And when he gets there, we're all laboring. I think for us, we also have to make a conscious choice to minimize that aspect of laboring on the Sabbath. I was talking to Paul with Janet earlier about Doug Batchelor, and we're looking at a movie. It was Laboring on the Sabbath. Doug Batchelor was talking about the Sabbath rest and about the things that we shouldn't be doing and the things that we should be doing. And I told Janet, I said, look, I'm really bad about the things that I know we shouldn't be doing. Like, right after church, if we don't have potluck, we'll go get something to eat. We'll go out to eat something. You know what I mean? But we're still fellowshipping, okay, with family. We'll go out to eat, eat something together for Sabbath lunch. We shouldn't be doing that. That's like having one foot in and one foot out. Her mom, who's a Adventist that I look at, she cooks everything Friday and they eat it Saturday, which I guess was pretty much
Right.
That's how my mom used to
Traditional,
do
right?
it. Yeah.
That's the Adventist way.
that's traditional. You know what I mean? And that's where I see this dilemma of keeping the Sabbath, and also like in the church. Okay, this drives me crazy. And we have all of our kids with their iPads, and they're in church listening to the message, but at the same time they're playing a game or watching something on YouTube. And I think as the head of our family, we need to come together and say, listen, it's great. You can have that. You can have the Bible app. You can do Bible crosswords on it. You could do something that has to do with the message. But as far as, and I know my kids, I can't talk. My kids are like the biggest culprit because I let them do it. JJ was playing Madden football next to me yesterday, and I was telling him, JJ, can you do something else? Because I was trying to get him to think about the rest, about resting his mind on that stuff and focusing on the message. Okay? Laboring on the Sabbath. I mean, what is the most difficult aspect of keeping the Sabbath for all of us? I mean, I know for me, there's a lot. You know what I mean? I could go right down thing. I think the first thing for me was working. And I stopped that. Having to go to work, right? And so I've been going to church every Sabbath and not working. I'm working in the church. I know George can attest to working in the church as much as any of us, right? Preparing in this, Paul also. I mean, what is the most difficult aspect of keeping Sabbath? Which is our weekly rest, which is Sabbath was created for us. Like, this is the big, and that's why I wish Ray was here to see this discussion about this. But what is the most difficult aspect? For you, Paul?
Well, it's like what you say. It's going out to grab something to eat, go to the gas, whatever. But talking about our labor in the church, we're doing service for God, so that's a little different than going and doing a paying job labor type thing. It's
still
for me,
work.
Service for God is a little different than doing a job that pays you income so that you can pay your mortgage, is what I'm saying, though, in that regard. But it's the typical thing is, like you say, oh, we didn't prepare anything to eat, so we're going to go out and grab something to eat. We're going to make somebody else work, which is not what we're supposed to do on the Sabbath. That, for me, is also in our family as well the biggest dilemma as far as that goes. But I don't work on the Sabbath. My wing doesn't work any work on the Sabbath. My work doesn't even bother to call me Friday night to Saturday night.
Right.
And stuff like that. So that labor is not there, but it's having others do labor.
What about you, George? What you got as your most difficult?
Well, basically just sometimes the same situation that you all have discussed already or expressed already. Not having something and being tired, not wanting to go home and prepare food, so the preparation of feeding the family, having an extended family over and being able to serve them in their needs throughout the day. You don't get that rest when you've got a house full of kids,
Right.
because there's always something
His house is full of
needed.
kids now.
There's always something needed by all the different ages going all the way on up. It's not like you're all at peace and you're all just out in the park walking about or doing a bike ride,
Right.
which is probably the best thing to try and do to get your mind off of all the other things that are going to create a work or serving environment. It's
Right.
just to go out and do something together out in nature and enjoy what God has created. That's the ultimate relaxation and Sabbath rest.
Right.
Go to a park and then crack open your Bible. I mean, that's picturesque.
Right.
But because of the world we live in, and who really dominates this earth, and the people in it, is not where we're going to find ourselves for eternity. And those stressors and outside influences are very tough to overcome. And that's the hardest battle right there, is having to go up against what this world is throwing at you, but yet still saying, God, I want to serve you and do your way. So, you know, I so much look forward to eternity.
Right.
When we'll
Exactly.
be out there, you know,
Exactly.
and not have to worry about these things. But mine is just being able to battle through all the things that get thrown at you. I mean, you could have the perfect day planned for a Sabbath day.
And then boom.
And you
It's
know,
washed
hey,
away.
clouds will come in and it'll rain on your parade.
Right, exactly.
You know, and now you're stuck indoors again. You know, I mean, you just have to find inner rest, inner peace. Like Paul was saying, going to church, to me, actually, sometimes the stressor of it gets the better of me. That's when I finally learned to lay off the stimulants, the coffee and stuff like that, okay? Not so much in the morning, get away from it, you know, rest, so that I can be more of a servant. And through being a servanthood, I can find a restoration and a inner peace in me. God can provide that. He shows me, hey, you just did this for me, and I'm happy with you. That right there is immeasurable amount of rest, to know that what I just did was pleasing to God.
Amen.
Amen.
You know, going over the, just investigating about this whole creation resting, it's really interesting when you look at every commandment that's in the Ten Commandments is kind of a, it's like a cliff note or a summarization, right? So, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, honor thy father, thy mother. There's all these different things that you need to investigate in the Bible that explains to you reasons why you should honor your father and mother, thou shalt not steal, why you should steal, why you shouldn't kill, okay? So they're like a summary. But the Sabbath, when you look at Exodus 28 through 11, when they said in the Bible, or when they have in the Ten Commandments, it says, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy, they really explain to you, like, that God didn't leave this for you to interpret. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I really, for me, I found it very, very enlightening to kind of figure out, okay, what am I doing that's wrong? What can I do to make it better? By looking at it from looking at the Ten Commandments. First of all, the fourth commandment is in the body, in the middle of God's commandments, right? The Sabbath day. It's in the middle. And it has a lot to do with you and God. When you look at Exodus 28:11, it says, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work. But the seventh day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. You shall do no work, you or your son, your daughter, your male servant, female servant, livestock, or sojourner, or visitor within your gates. In 6 days, the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, all that's in them, rested on 7th day, therefore the Lord blessed Sabbath day and made it holy. This part right here, on it you shall not do any work, you or your son, your daughter, male, female servant, your livestock, or any guest in your home, within your gates. So if you have someone living with you, that's also a problem, right? Like if you have visitors come and you're honoring the Sabbath, and they flip on the television, they're watching X-Men, and there's...
Yeah, but as head of household, it's your house.
Exactly. That's something that you kind of have to say, listen, guys, it's the Sabbath. We can't be watching, first of all, we're not supposed to be watching television, right? Technically. But if you're going to watch something, why don't you watch, this Christian video thing,
Bible
or
prophecy,
Bible prophecy, or watch Amazing Facts, something like that. And that's very important, I think. Like, if, say, the Solis kids are in my house, okay, and this is within my gates, I want to make sure that we're still keeping the Sabbath. They're playing outside, having a good time. It's not they're playing with airsoft guns in my backyard. You know what I'm saying? Because that's not keeping the Sabbath, really, is it? Or with bow and arrows and stuff, unless it's like you're teaching them and it's an outdoor activity, like a hobby thing, right? Laboring on the Sabbath. I mean, that's really, for me, it's a challenge. I was telling that to Dane, one of my clients, she made me a pork loin. I was like, man, that looks really good. It was on Friday. I was like, it looks really good, and I'm sure it tastes really good. I said, but I can't eat it. I would eat that in a heartbeat, but I can't eat that. You know what I mean? Because even though I love pork, I grew up eating pork, loving bacon. I can't eat that. You know what I mean? And it didn't hurt her feelings, but she kind of, oh gosh, I forgot you're Adventist. Sorry, I brought you a piece. Pork loin.
That was rough.
It was hard, man. So just saying no to that was insane. But then also like going back to
tempting.
Oh my goodness, the temptation. There's so many difficult things about the Sabbath of weekly rest. What I do look forward to is praising God on the Sabbath. I do look forward to my Sabbath nap. I do look forward to fellowship with the church, on the Sabbath. All the other things, like eating out and stuff, those are kind of things I think I still need to work on. And most people need to work on.
But I would say this, Patrick. At the very least, with the things you need to work on are still spending time with your family.
True.
Because the most important thing of the Sabbath to me is that it's the one day, other than possibly church, because in the mornings everybody's scrambling to get to the Sabbath, and then you go and you listen to people talk for an hour and a half. But once you get home, or after you leave church, it's the one day of the week where you for sure have time to spend with your family.
Yeah.
So that's very important too. Yeah.
Absolutely. So we're finishing up now, rest, relaxation, and annual rest. You gotta relax, right? Some of the things we do, outdoor activities, like George was saying, optimally would be being out there and enjoying nature. Hobbies, fellowship with others, which is like stewardship, what Paul was talking about, giving your time, vacation. I know the pastor, the best way to relax is exactly like that. Laying back, relax there. What is your best vacation? What is your best relaxation method? Anybody? I've had some good vacations. Actually, my summer road trips are my favorite vacations. Because it's just keeping my kids are with me and we get to experience every moment together, whether I get a ticket on the 95 by the Muscle PD or the Virginia PD, Virginia Highway Patrol. I get one speeding ticket every year.
Oh, we enjoy your vlogs.
The last 5 years, one speeding ticket every year. It's insane.
Not good.
Nice.
Not good. Pay them immediately as soon as I reach the hotel. I pay them right then. Boom, gone. Otherwise, they suspend your license. But my vacations, I look forward to, because I know it's with my kids, and I'm being there now with them. Relax. When I relax, I play the piano and I sing. That's how I relax. It doesn't matter when. Like you'll hear me play. I'm not Justin, but I can play. And sing, and that's my way of relaxing. How about you, Paul? Your best way to relax?
Well, on the annual is the travel vacations to go away, but yesterday I yelled at you that I was being kidnapped
Exactly.
as we were leaving church, because for me, my weekly relaxation is number 3 on there, fellowship. We talk about godly things, we talk about clean things, good things. It's not at work where I get in the elevator and if it's a bunch of guys that talked about drinking or this chick they picked up or how hot the waitress looked or how this or, and all that type of stuff. And, we had a team building thing on Friday and we went bowling at Strike Bowling at the Dolphin Mall. I walked in and the first thing they're doing is, what beer do you drink? I go, I don't drink alcohol. What? What do you mean you don't drink alcohol? I said, I don't drink alcohol. It's not good for you. I just left it at that and all, but when I go to church, I don't have to worry about covering Kylie's ears because we were at Denny's the other night and these 2 young guys were talking and every other word was F this, F that, screw this, F that, I'm going to beat the crap out of and not using those words. And I was like, dude, shut up.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have to worry about that at church. I know Kylie's protected by every one of you in here. If you see Kylie doing something dangerous, she's going to be protected. So for me, the most relaxing time I think I have, that's why Camp Calaco is just
Oh, yeah.
utterly amazing.
We need to kidnap
because
George next year. George,
we had all these people.
Wow.
Kylie was at Jenna. They were at
Oh.
Patrick's house and over at Ray's.
weekend?
And it was just relaxing, and everything was fellowship and talking God and nature. And so for me, that is one of my best. I love fellowship.
Yeah.
Fellowship lunch is just extending time with my family, and that's just awesome.
Oh, you passed your best vacation? Best relaxation?
Coming up.
Best relaxation.
The next
No,
vacation is yet to come.
as far as best
Hopefully.
vacation, it's not the one coming up, honestly.
What?
Because a best vacation for me, it's to be able to be with my family, but also land is very important. So, like for example, going to Dominican Republic and it's the beach, of course, but even in the mountain or the woods. At a farm in the Dominican Republic.
His own country.
Yeah, that to me it's as far as relaxation and recharging. I think we're gonna come out of this next vacation more tired, than we leave. But that would be my as far as vacation. I remember, and I have not been able to do it, but as far as like a weekly thing, one of the things that there are certain times in my life in which you do the kind of like it's a spiritual renewal, but that again is mind, body, spirit, And I remember that, and this was a stage that it's no longer there, but I remember there was a time in which I would go to Barnes and Nobles. And to be able to drink coffee and then read, and be able to learn about self-help books and stuff like that, and spiritual books, and then writing them and then incorporating that in my life. That to me was kind of like my midweek or my weekly vacation. At least once a week, go to Barnes and Nobles and read and drink coffee, and then just absorb from whether it's a magazine or the self-help books and write it down.
Right, exactly. To gain knowledge.
Yeah.
Gain knowledge
Yes.
and be able to use it.
Yeah.
Oh, you-
Sometimes he took me with him, and that was bonding
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, exactly. That was bonding time.
The best, most relaxing one we ever had is when we got an oceanside suite at Atlantis,
Oh, wow.
and leave the door open, and all you hear is the waves crashing.
Yeah, that's
No app.
That's
No app.
And the
No app, I
birds,
know.
the seagulls
God.
and the squawking going on.
Yeah,
and-
that's
But what if a seagull
and
flew
just
in?
and then what do you do after that? Well, you go down and you enjoy the water park, you enjoy the beach, and it's just you're away from it all, and it was just totally relaxing. It was just the wife and I. We didn't even have our son with us, and I've been blessed this time
Poor
around with
Adrian.
a wife that is almost like a clone of me. We enjoy all the same things, very
She's far
few
prettier
differences.
than you, though. She's far prettier than you.
Yes,
so it's
she
not
is.
a
Yes,
physical
she is.
problem.
And then while he was just talking, I was thinking about a sporadic one that occurs that for me is very relaxing, is playing a good game of chess.
Huh, that's cool.
Then you should go and hang out with my dad, who's like a chess master.
Well, I've got
No,
that-
that sounds-
I've got
that sounds the opposite of
chess-
relaxing.
I've got the chess international fame place right there on 117 down the
Oh,
street
yes.
from me.
That's right.
You go there.
Now I haven't
Oh.
exercised that. But if somebody comes over and
Oh,
they say they
man.
play chess, I'll say, well, I ask them 2 questions just to see how well they play chess.
Right,
And if they answer them both right, then I'll say, let's play.
right.
If they don't answer them, then I know they really don't play chess.
Well, you know what, George? I'm gonna bring my dad and a
That,
chess.
that would be
That's-
to play with your dad. It'd be
You know what,
hard.
Next,
It'd be stressful.
I'm gonna invite my dad
No,
over for the
no.
27th.
No, it's
That's
because
gonna be-
you just
Yes,
it'll be
please.
fun, man.
The game-
Am I invited?
The
I
game
want
of
to
chess
watch.
is nothing but the game of chess itself is all your focus is just put on the game,
Yeah.
and it's all hypotheticals.